You would, but you stirred a blue screen for a long time. I should see the opposite.
Leave me alone, Mike. All right, so sorry for those that just now got their watches today, and sorry for not giving you the training when I couldn't give it to you. So, yeah, the first training, I was out sick, and the second training, I got bumped out of this room. So, yeah, it's a mix of terribleness all together. So on to it. Are you on? Oh, that's why. There we go. So this is primarily for those that haven't paired your watches. Of course, just like Karen got her arms crossed because she did all this stuff already and doesn't want to see it again. So if you haven't paired your watch, this is a simple process that you need to do. Yeah, right now it's showing Moto 360. It's going to have its own unique Bluetooth code that comes with the, that comes with the watch. So these codes are specific. It is going to display on the watch what your code is. So just in case you don't pair your watch with your phone with somebody else's watch, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want that, and they don't want that either. So, but yeah, of course, for viewing purposes, everybody that's listening to the recording, the only way you're going to see this is you're going to have to download Android Wear. Should have been in the original email that was sent out for the training session. So if you don't have Android Wear, don't even try to pair it because that's how you pair it. So go to Google Play and download Android Wear, and then excuse me, it's gonna start you through the process. It's gonna walk you through the process on the watch, having you swipe to the right to start the process, and then you'll go through each of these steps one by one, and then eventually, once it's ready to pair, it's gonna ask you to confirm, and you hit OK. Just make sure that the unique ID of the watch matches with whatever is being displayed on the phone before you hit OK. Then it's gonna start updating. Once it starts updating, you know you're connected, and then it's going to go through and cycle through all of the apps that you got to see what's compatible with your what apps that's on your phone that's compatible with your watch. So, okay, so now we get to the navigations. Basically, when you swipe to the left, you got three options. The first one, when you first swipe to the left, it's going to list all the applications that you got on that first one. If you can see, you see these little three symbols up here. If you're remote, the very first picture that you see, you'll see the three icons at the top of the very first picture, and those signify what location you're at. So the first location with the grid lines up there are the apps, and you can scroll up or down to basically to pick whatever apps that you got. The second option are contacts. So if you click on a contact, you got two options. You can either send a text or you can call. Android watches do not have a speakerphone. They don't have a speakerphone on them. So only thing you can do is just initiate the call from your phone and just pick up the headset, whether you're in the car or excuse me, or just holding the handset to your head, of course. You can send a text via. There's actually a microphone on it, so it takes voice commands. So you can send a text via, it works pretty well, actually. Sometimes you gotta be a little precise with the proper vocabulary and pronunciation, but it works pretty well. And then miscellaneous, the last option over to the right from the options or functions is just primarily little miscellaneous stuff. Just that's why it's called miscellaneous. Taking notes, reminding you when to go for runs, and just little small stuff that you probably won't care too much about. So just letting you know that it's there. All right. So first thing we're going to try to dive into are the settings. There's some pretty important things in here that you might want to start messing around with. Of course, the trainer is just going to go over a handful. Of course, you customize it however you deem fit. It's your watch. Just don't go swimming with it. All right, so font size. I'm just going to, why even play around with it? I got 2020, and it's somewhat still hard to see on these tiny screens. So we're just going to go to font size and make it large. I mean, why leave it as small? you got 20/20 with glasses, then shame on you. So yeah, but you can actually see this is what the font size is originally out of the box, and then you change it to large. You can actually see the difference. This is what it looks like with large, and this is what it looks like in normal. So make it easier on yourself and just make it as easy as possible to read. Screen lock. I don't know if anybody set this up yet, but I personally set it up. It's actually pretty cool. So it's similar to drawing a pattern on your phone. For any Android phone, just simply draw the patterns with the grids that's there. So it's going to ask you to draw a pattern, and once you draw that pattern the first time, it's going to ask you to draw it again to confirm. Once it's there, it's there. So of course, only you know your draw pattern. I know the secret to getting past it if you can't remember it. It's not hard to Google for it either, but just letting you know there are ways past the lock. It's just a pain. So try to remember it. Also, the way that the lock's supposed to work, you can actually go through the options to lock it manually, or every time you take your watch off and leave it off for a few, it'll lock automatically. So when you put it back on, you're going to have to, basically it's somewhat of a small form of anti-theft. Since somebody take your watch and then, hey, I want to get in here, you can't without the pattern. So unless you're smart like me and just Google for how to get past it. But no, it's actually pretty cool. There's some decent safe measures. So please feel free. Like I said, it's optional. You don't have to do it. All right, wrist gestures. I don't know how many people have been having fun trying to use this. It does take a little bit of practice, so so don't get upset at the watch because it's not doing what you want it to do. So when you get notifications. Okay. When you do get notifications, you'll start to see, you'll see like the little ribbons down here at the bottom here. So when you do get those, you got the option to either swipe up using your finger, or if your hand is not free, you can do like a little wrist jerk. When you first set up the watch, it should give you like a small little tutorial of how to do it. It kind of gives you a nice little description like, hey, do this fast and then come back slow or something like that. But it's all practice. It really is practice, because you'll sit there. I mean, I can't tell you how many times or how silly I look in Walmart holding my hand trying to do this all day, trying to get the notifications to come up, and it just don't work. So it just takes a little bit of time and practice to get it down. Sometimes, to be honest, it works more than it doesn't. For me, at least. I don't know about you guys, but it works. So it's actually pretty handy. But of course, most people would rather just use their fingers to scroll. That's the easiest method, of course. Also, for the notifications, so there's ways you can dismiss it, and basically when you do get a notification, there's things that you should know about them. So when a notification first comes up, it's going to show up in this little ribbon form here. And of course, if you want to see, most of the time you're going to get text messages or Skype messages. If you're connected to Skype, you're going to see them, and you're going to only see partial of the message. So you scroll it up, and then guess what? Sometimes the messages can be so long, you're still going to only see partial. So if you want to see the full messages, you got to basically scroll up once to pull basically either do a wrist gesture or use your finger to pull up the screen and then swipe to the left. And once you swipe to the left, it'll show you the full message of what was sent. Excuse me. So it don't matter if it's a novel, you'll be able to read it. Hopefully that's not the case, because if you're reading a novel from a wristwatch, then you got problems. So yeah, that's one way to deal with notifications. There's multiple options behind them. So say for instance, if you have, I use GroupMe. If I scroll up and then swipe to the right, I can read the message to its entirety. If I swipe not to the right, to the left. I apologize. If I swipe to the left, I can read the message in its entirety. Or if I swipe to the left again, I actually have a little like button. I can tap that and I can like the message that way. And if I swipe to the left one more time, I can actually reply to it via voice, of course. But some apps actually have like pre-coded messages in there already. So if you see, maybe you can have you'll have LOL or yes or something like that. Some messages are pre-coded there, and there are some ways you can actually put your own pre-coded messages in there, because only the pre-coded message doesn't define who you are. Sometimes you might not want to say LOL. You might want to say something bad. So put those pre-coded messages in there. All right, just a little bit more of what I was saying. I probably wouldn't look further than I meant to, but either way. So these notifications, there's ways to manage notifications. So if you swipe downward from a blank screen, if your screen is blank, if you swipe from the top downward, you're going to get these options here. All of these, of course, most of these, these are self-explanatory. So basically, all means all notifications will pop up. All notifications that you have in a notification list. I'll get there eventually. All of them will pop up. That includes alarms, everything, email, whatever you don't have on the block list is going to pop up. Now, only priority notifications. Basically, there's options in your phone that you can select which applications will be priority for you, which, basically personalizing the machine, your phone with not the machine, you're personalizing your phone and your watch. So you'll know if it's a pop-up, it's something like, hey, this is one of the things that I set as my priority, so that means it's important. So just bypassing some of the extra nonsense. I mean, because, if you got Yahoo on there, nobody cares about the spam that's coming through. You do? Good for you. You do. And then, of course, none equals, you guessed it, none. I hope I don't have to explain any of this. If we do, then we got problems. And also there's a little theater mode. I use it often. It works pretty well, but you don't have to. Some people prefer to just turn it off, but I don't see the point in doing that. Just swipe down, turn theater mode on. You'll still feel the haptic feedback from the vibrations that you get from your notifications, but nothing will pop up. And in order to turn it back on, just hit the side button and it'll come back on. All right, so this is definitely the coolest feature that an Android watch has that Apple does not. The Wi-Fi is this is primarily one of the main reasons why I like to gloat about the Android device and just talk crap about Apple Watch users. So basically, what this instills us to do is, say for instance, you're running late. You got your watch on, but you forget your phone at home. As long as say for instance, if you're at work and you set up the Wi-Fi access on your watch from your phone, of course you need your phone here initially to set it up. Once it's set up, you can select any of these Wi-Fis here, and once you're connected, if you left your phone at home and your watch is on the Wi-Fi, whatever notifications go to your phone will still come to your watch. It doesn't need to be near your watch, and I think that's absolutely cool. You can actually communicate without your phone. So yeah, you'll be talking to your wrist a lot, but I mean, everybody's got a freaking watch, so you wouldn't be talking to their wrist. So no, this is actually pretty cool. So like I said, this is one of my glow points. So all right, now we get into some of the cooler things. This is another thing that kind of mesmerized me a little bit. I can't really go back to a traditional watch anymore, but primarily because I don't have to keep looking at the same face for year in, year out. And I think these are actually pretty freaking cool. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of free watch faces in Google Marketplace. Some of the really cool ones you got to pay for, but I mean, there's this chunk change stuff, but most of them are free. Literally are free. There's another one, I didn't put it in here, but one of the cool ones that I bought is actually called Premium Watchmaker. I can actually take images from anything and like create my own watch, like my own, the hourglasses, my hour hands, a preset image. I only pay like $3 for that, and I use it all the time. It's pretty cool. So experiment. You probably find some stuff that I haven't found since I did this training or a PowerPoint. So mess around with it. There's bound to be something that you like that's personalized for you. So there's two ways to get to the watch faces. Of course, you can go through the Android Wear app, and it'll give you the options to actually go through and change your watch faces. So this is the Android Wear app interface right here. So you can select all your watch faces from here. if you do download some custom watches, sometimes they may not be in here. They might be in their own little personalized folder that you're going to have to find. I don't know where it's going to place it for you, but you know it's on your phone. Find it. And this is the interface that it looks like if you're doing it from your watch. So if you want to change faces from your watch, just simply with a clear screen, of course, just hold the touch screen down, and you'll feel it vibrate. Just to let you know. Also, this is kind of a pain in the butt too, because you can just have your arms folded like this. You'll feel the feedback, and it's changing your damn watch face, and you don't want it to do that. So,
how do you exit that? Because it happens to me all the time. That I
exit so the only way you can exit is just by picking a watch.
Really? Mm-hmm. So every time I accidentally do it, I have to just pick it again?
Yep.
Really?
Oh, yours is doing something different. Oh, no. Okay, so that is weird, right? It's weird. So basically, when you did that, when it goes, so like just like now, it just gotta just tap on it, and it should come right back up. Yeah, it is weird. But so there's some additional options. If you see, if you touch down on the screen and you see this little cog symbol down here, this means that particular watch face has some customization options. Basically, you'll be able to change different color parameters and customize it how you would want. Some of these customization options aren't even available on the phone. So check that out when you get a chance. Just click on the cog and personalize it how you will. All right, so power reserve. I'm pretty sure you guys noticed that out of the box, brand new, your watch face stays on. Like you can see it go from, oh man, it's pretty colors, and then after a few seconds it goes to just black and white. That's because it's going into power state, always on power state mode. So even with it saying battery reserve, it's still draining the battery faster than it really would. So in the options, you got the option to turn always on off. So depending on how interactive you are with your watch, if you don't use it on a regular basis, like, just going through, sifting through apps and stuff like that, that's actually a pretty cool feature. That way you can just look at your watch and it's always there. You can always see the time, but I turn it off. There's no need for it to be on. I want as much battery power out of these things as I possibly can. So if it's off, all you really need to do is just look up, bring your wrist up like this, and it'll come on anyway. So for remote users, all you really need to do is just lift your wrist up as if you're trying to view your watch, and it'll come on. It's smart enough to sense that. That's what the sensor's at the bottom for. Yeah, so like I said, I turn this off. It doesn't, me personally, I don't really care for it too much. I like to, when I do look at my watch, I like to see the custom colors that I chose for it, not the black and white state. I don't care for it. All right, and this is one of the cool features, of course, since I'm probably not the only one that does this, that puts my phone down and walks a couple of feet away and then realize, like, I can't find my phone when it's right behind me. So and even though you can't find it, but if you got your watch on and your volume's on, that's the one thing. Your volume has to be on though. That's the one thing. And that's the most annoying thing, because it'll be ringing, but it's still going to be on whatever setting you left it on. So if it's on vibrate and it's on one of those surfaces, then it's cool. It's doing you some good. But if it's on silent, you're useless. The watch is useless. So, but it's still a cool feature. You can find the Find Your Phone application, of course, if you swipe to the left once, just scroll down and you'll find Find My Phone. Just hit it, select it once, and then it'll take about 5-6 seconds to do a full loop, and then it'll actually start ringing your phone. It works. I tested it multiple times. All right, so it's a mixed group in here. So for the charging stations, it's pretty self-explanatory. The only thing is Moto 360s, just make sure that the surface is flat as possible on the cradle, okay? And also, some of the cords, the charging cords they're kind of cheap. They're kind of cheap, so be sure not to, extend it or pull it too often, or it's going to short. One of mine shorted already, and a user that I handed a watch to a few weeks back shorted already, so just be mindful of it. But the cool thing about it is it takes the standard Android charging cord. So if you got your phone charger, your phone's charged, just plug it in. It'll work just fine. But just make sure that it's leaning on the surface, sitting in the cradle properly in order for it to charge. You'll see the standard charge symbol. You'll see the 80%, and you'll see like a little circle. You can also actually change the color of the the picture of while it's charging. Now for urbane users, I don't know if we got in the meeting right now, but this is a simple charge puck. Just plug it in, same standard USB, Android USB charger, and then just lay the phone, not the phone, lay the watch down to match the metal prongs that's on the puck. The thing I like about it is, I won't say like, but the Moto 360 dock is a little more, how can I say, it's a little more feasible because it's hard to, like, you can't really misplace this thing. You can't put it in your pocket and not feel uncomfortable. But this, you can lose this in a blink of an eye. They're that small. I already lost the first one I had. So, yeah, my son and nephews went to work with it and I couldn't find it again. So, yeah, so just be mindful. Just keep the LG puck in a reasonable place or you will lose it. It's just...
But with the Moto 360, it is a Qi standard, so I had some cheap little Qi chargers.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work as good as the Moto 360 dock specifically, but it is a much cheaper way to get it back.
They'll definitely do it. There's plenty of, there's plenty of secondary options. I'm glad she brought it up. Emma mentioned that there's plenty of secondary chargers that you can purchase for any of the watches. They'll work. Of course, they may not work as good as the default brand that comes with it, but they'll work. That's all that matters. You want your watch charged, they will charge it. All right, so one last thing about the apps, if there's anything I haven't talked about, but basically you want to try to find whatever apps that you feel would be complementary to the watch, basically. You know what I'm saying? So I find it really cool to have like task lists and stuff like that on your watch. So if I go grocery shopping, I can pull up a task list on my watch without having to pull out my bulky phone to check off things. Just small things that'll help you with your everyday tasks and stuff like that. Like I said, there's a plethora of them. So just go out there and start exploring, and hopefully you'll find something that's meaningful. I didn't go over Together I didn't go over it too often because it's kind of weird. It really is. Together, basically what it does is it pairs you and a friend specifically, and you'll be able to send you'll be able to draw like emojis and stuff like that and send them to each other. It's just weird. Like, yeah, but I mean,
all day, every day.
It's there.
Emojis? How is that weird?
Yeah. No. I'm just saying, like, to a specific person, like drawing emojis and basically you'll just be able to do everything that you can do without that. So that's why I found it was a little weird, but it's just basically like a one-to-one scene between you and a friend, so you guys can share things quicker than you would if you were just trying to go through like your contact list and stuff like that. So it's up to you. You can use it whoever you want. Make that unforgettable bond with whoever you like. So okay. So lastly, if you were to come up with another phone, another Android phone, it's simple. All you really have to do is just do a factory reset on the watch. There isn't too much that's stored in the watch that you can't get back. Basically, there's really nothing stored on the watch. Everything that you're doing on the watch is really on your phone. So do a factory reset and just pair it with the next phone that you get. And whatever, if you did do a backup of your phone, just transfer whatever backups you got to your new phone, and it'll be as if nothing ever changed. So that's what you really need to do if you need to pair with another phone. All right, that's it. Sorry it took so long for that amazing PowerPoint that everybody probably seen a few times already, but no, thanks for showing up. And like I said, sorry for missing the first training sessions. It'd probably been a little more interactive the first time seeing and messing around with everything. But since you've probably been playing around with your watches since you got them, you probably knew, most if not all of that information I just shared. So what can I say? That's how I work.